Greetings friends and fellow aliens, and welcome to my channel. You are watching video number 8 in a 10 video series on cognitive distortions. These are distorted ways of thinking that negatively affect you, how you see the world, your happiness, and your life. And man, we need to be aware of these things so we can just all be happier. In the last video, I talked about emotional reasoning, which was a super fun topic to cover. If you haven't checked that one out, please do. And I said at the end of that video, this video is on mislabeling, labeling and mislabeling. And let me tell you, I said on that one, I'm going to spit a little fire on this one, and I am not fooling around. I'm going to spit a little fire on this one, and I'm going to issue some opinions to you, and we're going to see how this all works out. Mislabeling is basically, this is something external. This is something that we do to other people. And it's taking an event or a thing that somebody else does, an opinion that they state, or anything else, and basically tossing a giant label on it and a whole set of assumptions and judgments. Mislabeling is you being a judgmental asshole. People do this. Look no further than Twitter to find people doing this. One person can say on Twitter that they support the Second Amendment. And you will have somebody go up there that says they're a racist, bigoted, homophobic, transphobic, Trump supporting this, that, and the other, want to murder everybody, fascist pig, so on and so forth, corporate mega lawyer, etc., 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 and just all of the things at one person for saying that they support the Second Amendment. And you can see how stupid this is when you break it down like that. One person issuing one opinion that they've probably thought out and that they believe, and all of a sudden they're getting labeled as all of these different things based on that one thing that they state. And you know what? I'm not going to leave the other side alone either, because the other side will say that just because you believe one thing, just because you don't want to raise a forest or you believe in saving a snowy spotted owl, that you're just like a jobless millennial snowflake, etc., etc., etc. See, it goes both ways. And honestly, everybody's a douchebag and everybody's an asshole who does this. This kind of goes back to the first video on polarized thinking, where there is no gray area for anybody. And it seems like everything, at least in the States, has drifted this way further and further over time, where we really believe that there's just one side and another side and that's it, and there's no gray area. And it's gotten so bad that if somebody issues an opinion on one thing, you will have somebody casting all kinds of judgments upon that person and assuming all of their views, assuming all of their beliefs, assuming that everything about the way that they think and everything else. And I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? I'm not sorry. I'm not going to apologize this. If this is something you do, you're an asshole. Mislabeling doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help anybody to be a civil person. You'll never say words like, well, agree to disagree, because you're so determined that your judgments about one person are correct based on one little thing. There's a stack of issues, particularly in the United States right now, where this is the case. One person can say they are for a particular thing or for a particular bill that's being discussed or whatever. And if somebody says, you know, I'm not really sure about that, well, then all of a sudden that person is labeled a certain way. Right. Slight jump cut here. The sun was streaming in and it actually overheated my camera of all things. So just going to kind of continue with these thoughts. Mislabeling is that thing that we have a tendency to do to be judgmental, right? If you have a friend that, you know, let's say your friend went out and, you know, got drunk and missed work the next day and got fired or whatever else, labeling that person as like a lazy, always messing up, etc., etc., and imprinting that upon that person as that label forever is an unfair thing to do, because we all have bad days. Likewise, if somebody issues an opinion of some kind that you disagree with, being a judgmental prick towards that person and assuming everything about them based on one thing, one opinion that they issue, is a wrong way to look at it. It's closed-minded, it's judgmental, and you are just being an asshole. Now, I realize I'm throwing out some strong language about this, and I'm throwing out some opinionated feelings about this, but it's only because public discourse is trash right now, and I hate all of it. And I can't stand people that go out and make these kinds of judgments on others in either direction, because it's wrong. We're not seeing people as humans anymore. We're seeing people as they either agree with all of my principles or they're the worst person in the world and they're basically Hitler. All of this is wrong. So do you have a tendency to do this? Are you a judgmental person? And do you cast judgments on people like this from time to time based on one thing? And if so, how can you be better? How can you be somebody that sees things in more of that gray area, that accepts that not everybody is going to think like you? Do you have to deal with people like this? A lot of us have people like this in our families, for crying out loud. It's definitely a thing. But at the end of the day, you still get at the table, you still share a meal. Do you know what I mean? As an INFJ in particular, seeing all these labels being thrown around at people and seeing the hatred and the vitriol that people have for one another based on one opinion that they may issue and one principle that they may have is really disheartening. And it sucks. It sucks to watch it go down. But at the same time, I'm not the type of person to let anybody do that to me. I will stand up for myself if you cast that kind of a judgment on me. For instance, if I support the Second Amendment and somebody just calls me somebody that just wants to shoot kids every day, all day in schools, right? This is the kind of thing that you encounter when you have an opinion like that. And so it's very difficult to deal with that. And honestly, I have given up on people like that for the most part, because unless I can have a civil discussion with somebody, there's no reason to engage. It happens. I mean, I talk about it all the time on this channel. Drive-by assholes that cast a judgment on me over one thing I say or something I talk about, or even just saying I'm an INFJ and somebody comes by and they're, well, you're this, that, and the other, and you're a liar and you're a narcissist because you have a YouTube channel and so on and so forth. Like, this is what you encounter. It's exhausting and it's just really stupid. And I just can't stand it when people do this kind of thing. So is this something that you struggle with, or you struggle dealing with somebody that is like that? I would like to know in the comments. Please tell me your opinion out there. So thank you for tuning into this one. Next video, number 9. Which one am I doing? The control fallacy. Oh, I love talking about things that you can and cannot control. This is going to be a good one. So please check that one out. This 10 video series is all for you to help getting a handle on these cognitive distortions so we can just be happier and better, more peaceful, awesome people moving forward. If you haven't already, please consider joining this channel. The button is below. You get access to an exclusive Facebook group, as well as a whole bunch of perks, members-only content. There's a really good video out there about 3 things INFJs should never ever do that I recorded for you. And supporting this channel is just really awesome. I'm very grateful for it, and it helps me to create awesome content like this, to give it to you. So thank you. I will see you on the next video.